TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Now, how did you wind up going over to All Japan?
We were in Puerto Rico, and Baba came in, Giant Baba came in. And he had a match set up with him. I was supposed to have a match. And Gonzalez was the booker at the time, and I was supposed to go over. I was going to beat Giant Baba because I was getting a big push down there too. And Abdullah come up to me, and I'm in the ring in the Bayamon. I'm in the ring, and he's telling me, "Al, don't beat him. Don't beat him. It'll hurt you if you beat him. Don't beat him." I'm saying, I don't care who this guy is. I'm not going to. And Dory Funk Jr. come up to me and said the same, "Al, don't do it. If you start beating him, I'm going to have a big run, and you're not going to beat him. This is my boss," because they make big money when they go to Japan. So I didn't beat him. And he ended up booking me in Japan.
Your thoughts on the different style between the United States?
Big time different. You know, here, it's a work. Over there, it's a shoot. I work with anybody. But over there, you know, it's a business. But over there, they're more like a power play. If they can... I had a guy one time, my airplane spun him and threw him down, and I turned around and worked the people, and he jumped up, started beating me like it never happened. So I threw him over the top rope. I think he hit the floor and come right back into the same thing. A young guy, you know, young boy. And the third time he came back in, I caught him and I threw him. I think I threw him 3 rows deep, and I hurt him. And I told him I'll stay out there. And he finally did, because I think I really hurt him bad. But yeah, they fight for position in Japan.
How about Jun Akiyama? What was he like to work with?
I couldn't remember his name. It was the bunch that I worked with.
You also worked with Sawa over there.
Horrible. Okay, one was green boots and one was yellow boots.
Green
yellow
was
boots. Masawa was a good guy. He was easy. He was a good guy to work with.
Kawada's, I heard, was the...
Yeah, Kawada, let me tell you something. What a piece of garbage. He wanted that top spot so bad that he would try to beat up Stan Hansen, and Stan practically beat him to death. Steve Williams did the same thing. These guys, they would beat him to death. He would be right back. I remember one time, his face was all blown up from a whipping that he took. But he wanted that spot, you know.
Did you enjoy working over there?
Not one little bit.
What was the locker room like? Was it cliquish at all, or?
Well, you pretty much had all the Americans in one locker room, one bus. When you got in a bus, you made a trip. It'd take you overnight. Next morning, you're still traveling in a bus. I mean, you had hard miles. The locker room there, you know, you had your top guys. Everybody knew their spot. You know, I was just coming in. I was underneath. I do my jobs. I didn't care, you know.
Right. After Japan, where did you end up?
That's about the time I got hurt. After Japan, I think I was working a little spot show down in Texas or somewhere around there. And just a little click in my elbow. Matter of fact, Gary Hart started doing some tapes out of Dallas. I forgot what it was called. And he took me back into there, and I ended up tearing my bicep. So I had surgery on my bicep, reattached it. And I was working with somebody in there and ended up hurting my elbow. I had a ball. My bursa sac was all inflamed and couldn't get rid of it. I had about 6 months. It was in bad shape. So I went to a doctor and tried to, you know, get rid of it. After about 3 months of treatment, nothing worked. So he tells me, so we just go in there, remove it. Some simple surgery, no problem, you know. So I did that, the surgery the first time. About 2 weeks later, no, 10 days later, they took out the sutures. And it was still swollen. My elbow looked like about the size of a baseball. He said, well, it's just the healing process. So he drained it more, give it some more time. Then he took out the stitches, and he tells my wife, he can go back to the gym. He's okay. My wife says, what? You tell him to go to the gym. You know, you can't do that. Oh, yeah, he tells me let pain be my guide. Well, in my business, you don't really know what pain is because
Right.
you'll go through it every day. Well, I went back to the gym and started working out again and ended up tearing my tricep. So had to go back into surgery. He ended up re-tearing the whole tricep, just tearing the whole tricep loose so he could justify repair. So he went in there, he repaired it. Couldn't move my arm at all. That was the second surgery. The third surgery, after they take out the suture, the stitches again, it looked like a grapefruit. And I had fluid draining from the closed-in stitches where the stitches were. And there was a doctor in the arm. My son plays baseball, so there's a doctor in the stands. He tells me, Al, you better call your doctor. Your arm looks bad. So I call my doctor, and he says, I just saw you 2 days ago. How bad could it be? So I went in there. The doctor sticks a needle in there. It's just all yellow. So he tells us, well, you're going to have surgery again today. So this is my third surgery. Open it up again, clean it out, and couldn't find where the infection was coming from. So they run blood tests. And he tells me the infection's gotten in your bloodstream. So they put a catheter directly into my heart for a 5th generation antibiotic to kill it. And he also tells me, he says, you may have osteomyelitis. And we may have to cut off your arm. So I said, no. I said, I came in here for something simple. Now you're telling me you're going to cut off my arm? No, you're not cutting nothing off. So I was in the hospital 9 days that time, and then he comes in and says, well, we'll go through the surgery one more time. I said, today, which is on a Sunday, October 31st. I said, today. And by 2 o'clock, because I ate breakfast at 8, I'll be done by 6. You know, by 2, my 6 hours is over. You clean out my arm now. He said, well, not today. I said, no, today. I'm not used to laying around. I'm laying around for 9 days in a bed. I said, if you're not here by 2 o'clock, 2:01, I'm throwing everything out the window. Doctors, nurses, furniture, whatever. He was there that day, and they did the surgery. Ended up taking out 60% of my tendon on my tricep, which ended my career.
What have you been doing since?
Right at that time, my wife says, you know, it's about time you stay home, get a regular job. And I got a job with UPS. And I've been there 7.5 years and love it. I got benefits. I'm home every day, almost every day.
Right.
And I missed 9 years of my kid's life. Now he's 17, and I'm there for him. I'm there, and I coach baseball with him. I coach the wrestling team down in Tampa, which he's on the wrestling team, and I enjoy my life now.
Does he want to be a pro wrestler one day? Or?
No, no,
What is? Go ahead.
He, that's the last thing. Back in my heyday, he was about 4 or 5 years old. His big thing was Fraggle Rock.
Huh.
Okay, a little cartoon. And my wife would tell him, Michael, your dad's on TV. Oh, no. He'd flip it over to the cartoon. He didn't care. Now his big hero was Sting a few years back. I'm like, oh, great. Good taste, kid.
What was your highlight of your career? When did you look back? If you were looking back, what can you say? Oh, that's when I made it.
I'm going to say I made it. I got the recognition that everybody wants in this business out of Texas. And like I said before, when I got into NWA, it carried it over. And I had a reputation there, and I never really knew what I was doing, but I guess I did something right because I had that reputation follow.
What was your favorite match?
Man, I think my favorite was Matt Bourne. 60-minute Broadway, and then the extra 15 minutes on top of that.
Is there anybody that you never got to wrestle that you wish that you could have wrestled?
Arn Anderson. Arn used to compliment me all the time, and I did the same with him. Arn was another one of my top 10 to me, and Arn would say the same thing about me. He says, Al, you're the greatest. And I said, no, Arn, you're the greatest. I said, Arn was an athlete. He was good.
Do you have any regrets, or would you change anything that you've done in your past?
Yeah, I would never go to WWF. I'd have told Vince, forget it, because to me, he ended my career.
Do you have any advice you want to give out to anybody that wants to get into the business?
Grow, because nowadays, man, they've gotten so big. I mean, bodies is 7 foot tall. The average size is 6'7", 300 pounds, ripped to shreds. If you want to get into the wrestling business now, I think I'd say no. Get a regular job, because the limelight is awesome. Women, you drugs if you want drugs, you booze. It's a lifetime of party. Basically, it's all a lifetime of party, but there's no future at the end of it. The money that you think you make and you save, and you end up spending it quicker than what you make it. I know guys who've gone through $1,500, $2,000 in a week, something in a day.
TitleMatchNetwork.com